Thank you both for being here, and congratulations on your nominations. I can't help but first shamelessly recognize one of my VA medical centers down in North Carolina. During the work period, I was at the Asheville VA. Actually, over the work period, I spoke with all the incoming directors of the medical centers. I'm very impressed with the transition, and particularly impressed with the continued high ratings that Asheville's getting. I mean, we've had the 5-star rating. I believe that's the highest rating you can get in the VA. That puts us in the top 10%, so I appreciate it. Fact of the matter is, I believe a lot of that, what gets you to the 5th star is all the hard work that's done by the men and women in the facility, and I just want to thank them. Now, Mr. Lawrence, have you had an opportunity in your preparation to look at the Protecting Veterans from Predatory Lending Act? It's a bill that I co-sponsored with Senator Warren.
At a very high level.
I'm not going to cause you to drill down, but I mean, can you at least generally agree that there are some predatory lending practices, some churn, and probably only a small segment of the financial community that we need to figure out a way to hold them more accountable and protect our veterans?
Generally, that's true, and I would agree.
When you get confirmed, and I'll be supporting your confirmation, I'd really like for you to dig into that pretty quickly. It's a bill that's now in the House, and we want to get it there. There may be some things that we can continue to work out, but I think the baseline bill is very important. We've had reports just recently of some bad actors, and I think this is going to head off some of the future problems that some of our veterans are dealing with. So I won't ask you to dig in the details. This is another area that you're probably somewhat familiar with. Since I've been here over the last 3 years, I've spent time along with Senator Burr on the Camp Lejeune toxic substances. I'm still a bit frustrated. I've worked well with the prior 2 secretaries to try and move things along, and I give the presumption to the people that may have been exposed to toxic substances, but it seems like we're taking half steps to really get to a point to where the presumption favors the veteran. But we have language in the omnibus that we want answers to, and I assume that you'll be a part of providing the answers. So I wouldn't expect a direct answer today, but I do expect one pretty soon. One is, why did we create a separate process that falls outside the traditional compensation and pension examination process? I don't understand that, and I think at best, it's just a duplication of an existing process. At worst, it's possibly a process that'll make it more difficult to help the veterans. I don't know if you can respond to that now, but that's something that I'll be watching pretty quickly, and I've got a lot of focus on this issue, let's say. And then also we can talk later about the evidentiary standard, but again, I feel like there's a dual standard, and I want to know based on the science why that would be. I'm not a scientist. I don't pretend to be one, but I am pretty good at logic, and I don't understand the logic behind it. So once you're confirmed, you can expect us coming pretty fast after you to get answers to the questions that were posted in the omnibus. I don't know if you want to respond to that. You're in a difficult position.
Sure,
You're not
sure.
confirmed yet.
I've actually had a preliminary conversation about this and some research, and I appreciate your perspective and understand. And I understand that the review by SMEs is not unique, but I understand your point about is it appropriate and might it be special. And were it not for the omnibus language, I would have suggested we work together and better understand it. But the language is in there clear, so I look forward to the reviewing, participating, and coming back to you to figure out the right course.
Yeah, the only reason the omnibus language is in there is I've been a senator for 3 years. I've been working on it for 3 years, and I want to get it done. We need to get to end the job, and I want very specific answers to the question. And most importantly, I want expedited resolution for the veterans who I think rightly deserve care. So thank you. I look forward to supporting your nomination.
Thank you.
I don't promise all of our meetings will be amicable, but I'll always be respectful. Hopefully it's gonna work out fine, but this is something that's very important to me. In my remaining time, Mr. Falvey, is that?
Yes, sir.
Correct pronunciation. I'm very impressed with not only your legal experience. We've got to figure out how to clear the docket more quickly. We need more resources to do that. That's why I'll be supporting your nomination. But I'm particularly impressed with your own military service and what looks like almost a Forrest Gump, Lieutenant Dan sort of history of family service. So tell me how the combination of what is clearly a generations-old military family and your legal experience, what kind of unique perspective does that actually bring to the appeals? process?
Well, I think that, number one, coming from a military family, being a military brat, if you will, and being raised all over the country, exposed me to the notion of public service, which has been true of myself, my siblings, and now my children. And it's why I'm interested in continuing to serve the public, especially this special class of public we call veterans on this court. My Marine Corps judge advocate experience, both as a trial counsel, defense counsel, and over 250 trials, gives me the perspective of the litigants. And then I also have judicial experience both at the trial level and at the appellate level in the Marine Corps.
Well, your past experience and your family experience gives me great confidence. You're going to be a great addition and a nomination I'll proudly support. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Tillis.